I keep telling people that as more and more information starts to come out concerning the Tyre Nichols situation, the more and more I'm going to address it. So these three individuals were the EMT that responded to the call that was made for them to come out and administer aid to Tyre Nichols, but they got fired, every last one of them, for not doing their job properly. Three EMTs who responded to the fatal beating of Tyre Nichols were fired Monday after an internal investigation, the Memphis Fire Department said Monday. Robert Long, JaMichael Sandridge, and Lieutenant Michelle Whitaker were found to have violated multiple department policies and protocols in their patient response to Nichols on January 7th. Their actions or inactions on the scene that night do not meet the expectations of the Memphis Fire Department and are not reflective of the outstanding service the men and women of the Memphis Fire Department provide daily in our community. The fire department was sent to the scene of Nichols' traffic stop at 8:31 p.m. after police called because of a person pepper sprayed, the fire department noted. Long, Sandridge, and Whitaker were directed to a second location and arrived to find Nichols leaning against a police vehicle at 8:41 p.m., 10 minutes after the initial call. Long and Sandridge responded to Nichols while Whitaker and a driver remained in the vehicle. Our investigation has concluded that the two EMTs responded based on the initial nature of the call, the person pepper sprayed, and information they were told on the scene, and failed to conduct an adequate patient assessment of Mr. Nichols, the fire department said. An ambulance was requested after their initial interaction with Nichols, the department said, and an emergency unit was dispatched at 8:46 p.m. The department said the unit arrived at the scene at 8:55 p.m. and initiated care and took Nichols to a hospital at 9:08 p.m. About 27 minutes after Long, Sanders, and Whitaker arrived at the second location. Voicemails left at phone numbers listed for Long and Whitaker were not immediately returned Monday evening. Sanders did not immediately respond to an email requesting comment. Video of the traffic stop showed officers using force against Nichols multiple times, including pepper spray. The officers also appeared to punch Nichols, strike him with a baton, and seemingly kick him in the face while he was detained. Nichols was taken in critical condition to the hospital where he died 3 days later. The Shelby County Medical Examiner's Office hasn't released an official cause of death. Preliminary findings in an autopsy a forensic pathologist conducted for Nichols' family shows he was severely beaten before he died, the family attorneys have said. Police initially said Nichols was pulled over in a reckless driving stop, but Police Chief Sarah Lynn C.J. Davis said her office has found no proof of substantiate the claim. Officers ordered Nichols to the ground, giving him conflicting commands before he ran away. Officers pursued Nichols using a stun gun on him as he fled. According to the videos, he was repeatedly pepper sprayed before he was beaten an estimated 80 yards from his mother's home. And I'm going to go ahead and just end the video, or not in the video, but in this particular part right here, because again, it goes on into information that we are already aware of, such as the 5 officers' names that was involved. They even now finally start to mention Preston Hemphill and the other seventh officer, which they still have not named as of yet. Well, I don't know why they're keeping their identity a secret, but I think it's safe to say that they aren't black, because if they were, they would have been dropped their name. They barely wanted to talk about Preston Hemphill, which, by the way, Preston Hemphill still has not been criminally charged. All that has happened to him and the other officer that they haven't named or identified is that they have been, quote unquote, relieved of their duty. Like literally, it's in quotes, relieved of duty, whatever that means. But yeah, like I said, line them up to knock them down. If that's the case, like get everybody that is involved with this. They were hired to do a job and they did not do it. They could have been the deciding factor to determine if Tyre Nichols could have probably lived if they even responded correctly. So they're just as guilty as the 7, we can say now, terrorists that were involved with the beating of Tyre Nichols. And that's probably why they haven't determined the cause of death yet, because granted, yes, we know the beating and the tasing definitely contributed to his death, but if they were able to save him, then it would have been a whole nother, direction. But let's just be real here. That man was beaten to death. He just didn't die at the scene. And he probably would have lived if these 3 right here would have responded the way that they were supposed to. But they didn't, so put them on the slab, on the chopping block with the other 7 terrorists. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're terrorists as well. 1, 2, and 3. No biases. Get them all. Everyone that had a hand in this needs to go down. Every last one of them, including Preston Hemphill and that other unidentified terrorist.